want to see the world, join the circus.
Told my mother that I was going to be a circus man. I was not going to be a Baptist preacher as I had planned.
The excitement, I mean, the noise, the clamor, everything about it was incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, what you are about to see is the incredible story of how the circus came to town one day and how a small fishing village named Sarasota would never be the same again. Sarasota, at the turn of the century, was a sleepy village known for its fishing and beautiful climate. But even then, the circus was already here, in the personages of circusmen W.H. English, who lived in a log cabin on what we now call the Caples, and Charles N. Thompson, who worked for Buffalo Bill Cody on his Wild West show. In 1912, when he was manager of the Four Paw Cells Circus, Thompson sold his house to the show's owner, a savvy entrepreneur named John Ringling, who had heard Thompson sing the area's praises. Here is Thompson's daughter, beckoning tourists on the very train tracks that would bring the greatest show on earth to Sarasota County, and, ironically, would carry it out of Sarasota, perhaps forever, nearly 65 years later. Ringling, using all the energy of his larger-than-life personality, voraciously purchased land to develop. And in 1926, he built his palatial home, Codzon, on the Thompson home site. By the end of 1926, Ringling had decided to move his largest circus to a winter quarters in Sarasota. Though Florida was suffering at the time from a real estate bust, Sarasota County was about to explode.
Without the Ringling show, this place would be nowhere.
Ringling not only brought his business to Sarasota, he brought people from all over the world who would settle here and give Sarasota a true international identity.
We were working in Paris there, but we just closed with the circus there. And John Ringling North came in and looking for acts, and he saw us, and then he says, Mr. Ivanov, we want to audition. So we auditioned with him in Gaumont Palace in Paris. Before we finished the act already, he says, Ivanov brothers, stop, he says, you come into the United States. We just were so happy because just Hitler was going to declare war.
I came to Paris in 1948 and worked several places, and Johnny North saw me and asked for me to come to the United States. In 1949, we worked with the Ringling Show for several years, and I have been here ever since.
The old John Ringling was looking for new acts for his circus, and he went to Denmark. And he saw my dad, my uncle, there working at the Tivoli, and he brought him right back to the Ringling Brothers Circus. And we stayed till 1938.
The Gay Wool and the Wire Act started in the mid-1920s in Germany. The family had been in the circus business or entertainment business for a couple of generations. They came over here in 1928. They were working in Havana, Cuba, when John Ringling supposedly came down and saw them there and brought them to the United States in 1928.
World-famous performers moved to Sarasota. Clowns like Lou Jacobs, Emmett Kelly, and Felix Adler. Former Ringling band leader Bill Prine recalls the famous band leader Merle Evans.
There was an occasion, I'll show you how trained that band was. We were out somewhere in Iowa, and we got to the payoff music and the spectacle, which was normally very slow and grandioso and so on. All of a sudden, Merle started going like this, and the band just went along with him, you know. We finished the tune and had to start it over again, and we discovered that he hadn't changed the tempo. There was a B up his sleeve, and he was trying to get rid of that B, and we just went along with it with him, thinking that he had changed the tempo.
In those days, the circus could be found everywhere.
You drive around with the car, you see in the backyard with the Regans up there, the flying act there, everybody practicing. It was a one big family, so it really was nice.
The deep affection between the city and the circus was evident at the winter quarters shows on Sundays. Townspeople and tourists jammed the arena, and all profits went to the milk fund for the poor of Sarasota.
People used to come and in droves, in buses, the tourists to watch the rehearsals, to see how we performed. And it was very strenuous in the hot sun before they put up the big top. The big top was for the dress rehearsals, but we worked out in what we called the Little Madison Square Garden, which was out in the open. And it was just, every day when you went, you saw all these sun hats and sunglasses and the crowds, the multitude that came to see how the Ringling Brothers Barn and Bailey Circus is put together.
Soon it would be time for the circus to hit the road again. Townspeople would come out to say goodbye and witness the blessing of the trains.
Everybody would be standing by the trains, and he would come with his little flock and bless every wagon, and everybody sort of had tears in their eyes. That meant the long road was ahead of us.
Besides performing for their own livelihood, circus performers used their talents to help raise funds for many causes, including St. Martha's Church. John Ringling himself developed many areas of the city, such as St. Armand's Circle.
He had finished up St. Armand's, laid out the streets, paved them, the curbs in, and those red sidewalks were poured in there. Now everybody disregards those sidewalks, but they have a historic value.
Ringling bought the El Vernona Hotel, later to become the John Ringling Towers, and turned it into a world-class establishment, complete with circus acts in the high-ceiling Matoto room. Because, after all, performance is what the circus is all about.
Their wine cellar was upstairs somewhere, and every time we had to go in there for something and attach a wire or so on, that's one end of the wire because it went through the ballroom area, and every time we went in there, the maitre d' or somebody like that was the only one that was allowed to open that, and he made sure he was with us every step of the way, and he waited till we did what we had to do. I guess they want to make sure we didn't borrow a bottle or two of wine along the line.
It was that performance heritage that in 1952 brought Cecil B. DeMille to Sarasota to film the Academy Award-winning motion picture, The Greatest Show on Earth. Famous trapeze artist Faye Alexander doubled for Cornell Wilde in the DeMille Classic.
See, Cornell Wilde was scared to death of height. And I remember Cecil B. DeMille bawling him out saying, "You knew what you were going to do when you signed to do this movie. So get up there and do it." What they did, they had to put the net right up close. He was supposed to drop into the net. So they had the net ordinarily is 10 feet high, and they had it up about 25 foot, so that he only fell about 4 foot into the net. But that's how scared he was.
DeMille's influence on Ringling clown Ernie Birch would change Birch's career forever.
I was working on the picture in Sarasota, The Greatest Show on Earth, one of the clowns picked. I had 8 speaking lines, 6 on the floor, and 2 in the picture. And when I went out to Hollywood to do the trailer of the picture, the late Cecil B. DeMille said, "Ernie Birch is not a clown's name. Blinko, you're blinking your eyelash." I've been Blinko ever since.
The Ringling Brothers Circus made Sarasota their winter home until 1959, when they moved 20 miles south to Venice.
It was a feeling, especially among the business community, that Sarasota had outgrown the circus, that we were more sophisticated than that now, and that the economy did very well indeed without that kind of thing. And that's when they made it really advantageous for the show to leave town.
In Venice, they established the unique Clown College, an 8-week training course for aspiring clowns. 1993 saw the Clown College move to the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, Wisconsin, Ringling's original winter home. The reason? The imminent departure of Ringling Brothers Circus from Sarasota County. In 1991, the Seminole Gulf Railway says the tracks to Venice will no longer support the weight of the circus train. They plan to close the unprofitable line unless money can be found for upkeep. None is found, and for the first time since 1926, the greatest show on earth does not come to town. Should the Ringling Show return or not, the relationship between Sarasota and Circus is secure. There are some 16 circuses that now call the area home. The largest of these, and one of the biggest tent shows still touring, is the Great American Circus.
Years from now, I think there will always be circus in Sarasota. You're only going to see it grow. You'll never see it go backwards. It's only going to grow bigger and bigger.
Sarasota's circus heritage is all around us. At Showfolks of Sarasota, circus people meet to enjoy each other's company and discuss their days under the big top.
When the Second World War was on, my uncles and most of them got drafted, so they started putting women in, and I was the first woman to shoot out of the cannon in 1943, something like that. I was doing the cannon off and on with my dad, and I happened to be pregnant with my first child. And my first jumps were with my father's, Bruno's, and Hugo's cannon. And that cannon was built strictly for men, you know, huge men, like the zucchinis were all big. And my first jumps, they really hurt me. So then my father decided to build me my own cannon, which is now in the Ringling Museum.
I was lucky because when I went on Ringling Brothers Circus, I apprenticed under my father. Not only did you clown in the performance, you assisted. The big clowns did the big work, and if there was a cape to be thrown, you did it. If there was water in the face to be taken, you took it.
Earliest memory was on the Ringling Show when I was a little girl. I was there from 2 years till I was almost 6, and the elephants, the horses. I used to be always in the horse stable, and the camel. There was a camel which loved me very much, and the elephant what loved me very much. He came in the morning to the circus, to the trains, and he picked me up and brought me to the circus.
The flying act, catch her swinging. I don't care how good the trick is, if it's out of time, you can't catch it. Or if you do catch it, you can't hold on to it. And then when you have to come back to the bar, the person standing on the board has to drop the bar at the right time. Otherwise, you're in the net. And when you miss it in the flying act, it's obvious.
Each year, Sarasota's International Circus Festival and Parade affirms that Sarasota continues to be the heart of the American circus.
That festival draws an amazing number of people from out of town, from out of state, and even from Europe. I would like to see it become something equivalent to the annual Circus Awards in Monte Carlo.
It's a beautiful history, the circus in Sarasota, and it's things like this that keep it alive, and I'm very proud of that.
Sarasota's circus heritage lives on in our unique high school student circus, the Sarasota Sailor Circus. Begun in 1960, the director, Coach Bill Lee, has guided the show through tremendous growth. The history of Sarasota County and the art of the circus are forever entwined. This rich heritage will continue to blossom, for the future of the circus is certain. While it may go through changes and styles of performance, places, and faces, one thing remains true. As long as there are children, there will always be a circus.